singing them as people are coming in. So this is just to start the service off.
We're about to find out. This land is your land, this land is my land, from Monte Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I saw behind me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from Monte Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun was shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from Monte Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. And we'll go into, come and sit down. Sure. Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found. We are a part of the family. You know the reason why you came, yet no reason can explain. So share in the laughter and cry in the pain, for we are a part of the family. Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found. We are a part of the family. God is with us in this place, like a mother's warm embrace. We're all forgiven by God's grace, for we are a part of the family. Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found, and we are a part of the family. There's rest for the weary and health for us all. There's a yoke that is easy and a burden that's small. So come in and worship and answer the call, for we are a part of the family. Come in and sit down. We are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found, and we are a part of the family.
Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for choosing to come today on this holiday weekend to begin and continue our celebrations. Are there any visitors here today? Sandra McFarland, welcome.
Security.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure you're a friend to many of the people here. I'm the Reverend Jane Aikman. I'm a retired United Church minister, but I was born and grew up in Montreal and served all my years of ministry in the Eastern Townships, ending up in Sherbrooke, Quebec, before coming here. We moved here to be with our daughter Jennifer and her family 6 years ago, and we love it. So it's now our home. All right, we have a couple of announcements. You'll see there the details about being Chris on holiday. You can still call the church office for pastoral care and further direction. I guess on the website when the office is closed too, you can find where to call because there is coverage. And be back together again on the 4th. And the 4th of August is Grocery Sunday, and you'll see there the list of things that they're hoping for. One of the ways we can reach out. Save the 18th of August when Keith Gale's group is coming, and there'll be wonderful music for the service. So write that down on your calendars now. And there are the dates for Camp Tawasi. How many people here, just as a matter of interest, have a child or a grandchild going to Camp Tawasi this summer? One? Oh, that's wonderful. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. So, and then you have a weekend coming up in the fall too, so that's something to look forward to. Okay. Wow moments are those moments when all of a sudden life felt incredibly wonderful, or you felt the presence of God. Has anybody had a wow moment in the past week? Or have there been lots of wow moments? Oh, wow. That is a wow. What's a wow?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it's coming and coming. We get just a little glimpse of sun and then rain again. Well, 17. Wow. Happy birthday. Do Mommy and Daddy feel old? Oh, that's wonderful. Well, and it's a wow moment for me to be here today and able to lead you in worship, and I thank Chris and all of you for giving me this chance. Earth and sea and sky, praise our Creator, the living God.
We join our voices with theirs in wonder and gratitude.
I guess there's a pause in the off. Okay. This candle reminds us of the presence of the risen Christ and the light of Christ that shines in each one of us. We turn now to God in prayer. And I invite you to take a deep breath and then let it out. There'll be nothing to read, so you can close your eyes and just enter into this time. A deep breath again and then let it out. As we breathe deeply, we enter into this sacred time and place, made sacred by our presence and our turning to God. Loving God, we have come on the eve of Canada Day to count our blessings and to renew our commitment to serving you in this land we love. May we feel your Spirit filling us and strengthening us. Amen. Called by earth and sky, and this isn't too well known. I think you've sung it before, but John's going to play the chorus through. That's the chorus there. And then we'll start in and sing it the second time through.
promise of hope held high. This is our sacred living trust, treasure of life sanctified, called by earth and sky. Precious these waters, endless seas, deep oceans deep, waters of healing, rivers of rain, the wash of love again. Called by earth and sky, promise of hope held high. This is our sacred living trust, treasure of life sanctified, called by earth and sky. Precious is the air we breathe, wind born and free, breath of the Spirit blow through this place, our gathering and our grace. Called by earth and sky, promise of hope held high. This is our sacred living trust, treasure of life sanctified, called by earth and sky, called by earth and sky.
Well, I'd prepared a time for the children. Last week we had about 20. And this week, well, it's a holiday weekend. School is finished. The ministers of... We have one. Oh, do you want to come down with Mommy? Mom could come too. No? We've got a puzzle to make. You're good at puzzles. Tomorrow is Canada Day, and this is the eve of Canada Day when on Canada Day we rejoice in this beautiful country we live in. So this is a chance to start ahead and warm up for tomorrow. And we have a puzzle. You watch and see, and maybe you'll change your mind. You want to just come down closer where you can see? Oh, it's hard. All right. Here is Alaska and Greenland and all the northern part. And we're going to start building Canada. And we're going to start with the territories. And the first piece, maybe I'll hand you the whole tray, is the Yukon. And Jim has found a beautiful slide to go with every province and territory. So this is from the Yukon. Does anybody come from the Yukon or have family there? If you do, you can raise your hand. 2. That's wonderful. Okay, this is for you. There's the Yukon. And now we move to the Northwest Territories. Anybody have family there or come from there? Excuse me. Just push hard, yeah, because it's got that. Oh, well, it's close. Now we come to Nunavut. With the snowshoe hair. Anybody with connections to Nunavut? Our newest territory. All right, as long as it stays up. And now we'll start on the west coast. What about British Columbia? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. British Columbia. Look at the beautiful totem poles. We move on now to Alberta and Lake Louise. Anybody? Oh, you're already ahead of me. 1, 2. Jim, you've been all over. Jim up there with the hand. Bravo. Okay, and now we come to Saskatchewan. Who has people in Saskatchewan or comes from Saskatchewan? 1, 2, 3, 4. Manitoba with a polar bear. Another hand for Manitoba. 2, 3, 4, 5. Jim, your hand's going to be up for every province. Just about. Okay, Manitoba. And now we come to Ontario. I guess it goes down there.
I guess that's right.
Yeah, because we have, Hudson's Bay, that's about it. Niagara Falls, Ontario. Oh, okay, more people there. And now Quebec. Yeah, leave room for Hudson's Bay. Okay. Bravo. And I really learned something. Look at New Brunswick. You drive through all the wonderful forests coming here, and I thought it was huge. And compared to Quebec, this is New Brunswick. Anyway, we've got quality. There. And now two that are on the same puzzle piece. PEI, Prince Edward Island. Oh, look at that. Prince Edward Island. Okay, the Islanders. And Nova Scotia. Cape Breton, okay. Okay, oh, of course, Cape Breton.
Almost.
And then, last of all, Newfoundland. The latest to join the province is Newfoundland and Labrador. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's wonderful. Will they all go together? What's missing? Move over to the side. What's that piece? Anybody know? Hudson Bay, that's right. We weren't quite sure when to stick it in. We don't have a picture of that. Hudson Bay. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you very, very much. And so as you can see from the slides, we live in such a beautiful country. May we remember to say thank you to God, not just today, not just tomorrow, but every day of our lives. And now, I promised John he wouldn't have to play this. We were going to download a video from YouTube. Most of you who are over 50 will remember this song from 1967. Maybe you even got a little bit sick of it at the time. And we're now 146 years from Confederation, but it was our 100th year of Confederation song. And Jim wasn't able to download anything from the YouTube, so Craig and John have patched together a version of it, and we're going to try and sing it. And if you can't sing it, at least maybe you can hear it in your memory.
Canada, we love thee. Canada, proud and free. North, south, east, west, there'll be happy times. Church bells will ring, ring, ring. It's the 100th anniversary of Confederation. Everybody sing together. Canada, notre pays. Canada, longue vie. Hurrah, vive le Canada, 3 cheers, hip hip hooray, l'Assemblée. That's the order of the day. Frère Jacques, merrily we roll along together all the way.
Hey.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Well done. Thank you. Okay. Here are some fun facts about Canada. And I promise you I assembled them before the latest issue of Maclean's came out. And if you get Maclean's, it has 99 reasons why it's better to be Canadian, but here are just a couple. We now have a population of 35 million, not the 20 million in the song. We're the second largest country in the world and have the longest coastline, which I didn't realize, and the longest land border shared by two countries with the United States. The northernmost settlement in the world is the Canadian Forces Station Alert on Ellesmere Island. Have you been there, Jim? It's only a couple of 100 miles from the North Pole, I think. The third best place in the world to live after Australia and Sweden. The ninth highest average per capita income of $35,000 in the world. Our average life expectancy is 81 years. So if you've passed 81, you're above the average. It's a gift. In sixth place out of 17 peer countries, which means countries that have a similar economic and advantages in life. And 82% of Canadians report more positive experiences in a day than negative ones. Then I found a site that had the top 10 Canadian attractions in terms of interest and actual tourists going to them. And you can read through that list. And Cape Breton is there. It's number 4. Number 1 in your, okay. I was surprised that Baffin Island is there on the list. But I think a lot of Japanese and Chinese people want to come and see the Northern Lights. So Vancouver, Victoria, Prairies, the train trip, Old Quebec City, and Bay of Fundy. Anne of Green Gables home was down a little bit. I only put the top 10, but that was another one there from the Maritimes. And then for a couple of weeks, I've been asking people to hand in cards sharing memories of when they were proud to be a Canadian. Some of them were duplicates, so I've combined them, but here are the answers that people handed in. There's a little paragraph there about Chris Hadfield and the way he made space cool again, as they say, and really sang and talked about our Canadian culture. We had a steady stream of house guests in Montreal for Expo 67, exclaiming over the wonderful exhibits. Canada changed to the metric system before the United States. I was proud to be Canadian when I went to Holland in 1977, and people there were thrilled to know I was from Canada. It gave me pride. Has anybody else had that experience of going abroad and saying you were Canadian and people saying, oh, that's wonderful, I know we have. Gay marriage was legalized in Canada, well ahead of many other countries. That's just starting to happen in the United States this past week. When the people of Moncton offered hospitality and places to stay for the passengers when planes were stranded here after 9/11. Many again were involved when that took place. Did any of you have people in your homes? I know our daughter did, had a family. We chose not to enter the Iraq War after 9/11. I was proud to be Canadian when Terry Fox was running across Canada, leaving a lasting legacy. I was proud to be Canadian during the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary. We were downtown. Canada won a medal. I think it must have been a silver, because I don't think we won any gold medals in those Olympics. But the crowd of people began singing, "Oh, Canada," anyway, and we sang along. I was proud to be Canadian when I was old enough to realize that I had 3 brothers in World War II. One returned safely. One was burned beyond recognition but lived. And one, 20 years old, never returned. I am so proud of them and my country. When Sidney Crosby scored the game-winning gold medal goal for Team Canada in overtime at the 2010 Winter Olympics. And then some ongoing ones. I'm proud to be Canadian when we send foreign aid or aid to countries in times of crisis. When I think of our peacekeeping missions. When I consider how we manage our finances well compared to other countries. When I see the state of the world's economy and the way Canada is maintaining stability. I'm proud to be Canadian when we worship. I give thanks that Canada is free of the violence found in the Middle East. And I am always proud to be a Canadian. 3 people wrote a line like that. And then a special email came from Pam Harrison, who said, "Oh, I would have loved to be with you, but I'm leading a once-a-year service on Spencer's Island. And please say hi to everybody on the eve of Canada Day." And then she shared her story. In 1993, she joined 28 youth from 15 countries on a cross-Canada tour sponsored by Rotary. They left Moncton by train and rode the rails across this vast nation. They timed it so they were in Ottawa on July the 1st at the show on the hill. And she stood with those wonderful young global citizens and sang "O Canada" with tears in her eyes, joining 200,000 people for songs and fireworks. It was a God moment. And now we'll stand and sing our national anthem, "O Canada."
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, we'll all our lands command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Does that little fellow want to go out to Dream Team, do you think? Do you want to go out? Does he want to go out to the Dream Team, or is he happy staying with you? Okay. Well, if you change your mind at any point, there you can go out there. There was a time after the Second World War when many Canadians, including members of the United Church of Canada, considered nationalism a dirty word. They had seen how Hitler had used the state church in Germany as a puppet and had co-opted them, or at least their silence, as he tried to create the pure German race by trying to get rid of the Jews, physically and mentally challenged people, homosexuals, and gypsies. And so back here in Canada, Liberal Canadians decided to try to keep all examples of nationalism out of worship. And singing "O Canada" the way we just did would have been frowned upon. Christianity and excessive national pride were never meant to go together. Think about Jesus and how he resisted all attempts to crown him king. And he refused to lead an armed revolt against the Roman occupiers. In the Gospel according to John, he says to Pilate, "My kingdom is not of this world." Some have taken this to mean that we're only meant to be about the business of saving our souls, of worrying about whether or not we'll get to heaven and life after this life. But no, throughout the Hebrew Scriptures, God's promise to people over and over again was the gift of land here in this world. And in the book of the prophet Micah, there's a beautiful passage that's known as the universal promise of peace, or the promise of universal peace. And I'm reading from the Message. God will establish justice in the rabble of the nations and settle disputes in faraway places. They'll trade in their swords for shovels, their spears for rakes and hoes. Nations will quit fighting each other, quit learning how to kill one another. Each man will sit under his own shade tree. Each woman in safety will tend her own garden. God of the angel armies says so, and he means what he says. What a wonderful hope that someday everyone throughout the world would have a little bit of land, enough to grow a tree or plant a few vegetables or flowers. Some of us here today already know or have known that delight. One of the richest blessings we will ever know is a place to call our own. And we do, with our wonderful country, Canada. Something to celebrate. Canada is such a magnificent country with so many contrasting types of beauty, as we've seen from the slides that Jim put up on the screen and from the songs that we're singing. I realized the dream of a lifetime in 1982 when I took our 3 children across Canada by train. There's the same rich variety in the people of Canada. Different skin colors, different languages, different accents. All proud to be part of the Canadian mosaic. And many of you contributed your treasured memories and reasons you are proud to be a Canadian that we've just seen up on the screen. And thank you for helping us all to feel that pride. National pride is only harmful if we use it to say we're the best and to criticize and put down other people and countries, or if we selfishly keep all our privileges to ourselves, unwilling to share them. June the 20th was World Refugee Day, and in Times and Transcript there was a wonderful article about MAGMA, the Multicultural Association of Greater Moncton. Refugees who have come to live here rejoice in the freedom from fear, of war, of disease, of being killed. And they find delight in having a bed to sleep in, and electricity all day long, kitchen appliances, free education for their children, things we take for granted. We in Canada could be taking in far more refugees than we do. The church I was part of in Sherbrooke, Quebec, sponsored a refugee family from Rwanda. Easy to do because, of course, they were French-speaking, and for Quebec, that was the language that was valued. And it was such a rich learning experience. May our pride in our country make us determined to care for this land we love, for its forests and fields, its oceans and parks. Someone once quipped, and it's often been quoted since, we're not meant to be so focused on heaven that we're no earthly good. Caring for our land is a way of worshiping God. And may we work to preserve the blessings of things like universal Medicare, our social sciences, services, and free education that help to make Canada the 3rd best place in the world to live. We who worship here are a people of faith. And because of this, we must hold fast to Jesus' vision of the kingdom or realm of God, to which all nations someday will belong. We're called to live so that our lives point to that realm, a place where no one is hungry or homeless, a place where there is justice for all and no more war. We'll be saying the Lord's Prayer together in a moment and repeating the words, "Thy kingdom come." John Ruskin, the Victorian author and critic, said, "If you do not wish for his kingdom, do not pray for it. But if you do, you must do more than pray for it. You must work for it." As individuals and as a congregation, may we keep looking for ways to make Canada more like the realm of God, a place where resources are shared, there is justice for all, and peace is pursued. May we keep saying, "Thank you, God, for the gift of our country, Canada." Amen. Today is also Multicultural Sunday. And the United Church, in typical fashion, has vowed to move beyond multiculturalism to interculturalism. And I think I've got it straight. In multicultural communities, we live alongside one another, we value tolerance, and we celebrate each other's culturally distinctive cuisine, dress, music, and dance, the way they did at the Moncton Market last Saturday, and all their expressions of their culture. But it usually requires, the little write-up said, only superficial and polite social interaction. When you move into trying to be an intercultural community, we no longer assume that our values, our patterns of living, our way of life that we think of as the Canadian way, truly is and will stay the Canadian way of life. We don't say to newcomers, "You've got to learn how to be Canadian." We admit that we need to learn more about their way of looking at things and even be willing to change some of ours. The opening sentences of the prayer that we're going to be using come from the intercultural resources for this Sunday from the United Church. We turn now to God in prayer. Eternal God, on this eve of Canada Day, we give thanks for the gifts of those who have gone before.
For First Peoples who have walked these lands for thousands of years.
For French, British, Black, and Chinese who have been here for a few hundred years.
For multitudes from all corners of God's world who have joined us in recent years.
We thank you for their dreams, their faith, and their awareness of you.
We thank you for their vision, their courage, and determination.
May we and all Canadians hold in trust the traditions and the land which we have inherited.
May we do our part to preserve and to add to whatever is good about our Canadian way of life.
May we learn from people newly arrived to this country new ways of being together.
Help us to find our way in the complexity and wonder of diverse cultures and values.
Open our eyes to see you as you would have us see.
Open our mouths to speak words of love and caring towards the world community.
We pray for all who hunger for love, for healing, for peace this day, especially those we name in silence before you now. May they feel your loving arms upholding them. And we join now in the words of our Christian family prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And now we celebrate the gifts that we have been given and the gifts that we can share with others. We turn to God in prayer. God of extravagant giving, we are so lucky to be able to live in this country of great beauty and peace. We offer to you these gifts and the gifts of our time and energy. Bless them and help us to use them, we pray, to bring your blessings to others. Amen. And now, lots of new things this Sunday. This hymn isn't too well known. It was written by Herbert O'Driscoll, a wonderful Anglican priest who's written a great many hymns, and it is in more voices. Craig's come down to help us, and he's hoping he won't have to sing a solo. So as you learn the tune, at least join in with the odd word here and there. God who spread the boundless prairies.
We're doing verse 1 and 3.
That's right.
God who spread the boundless prairies when the ancient oceans die, brought to birth the tribes and nations, all in dignity and pride. Now as one we seek your spirit, reaching for your loving hand, called by you, our great Creator, sharing in this sacred land. God who came to Lazarus' people, call us to a common task. Grace and strength you freely give us, when in prayer we humbly ask. Races, genders, you have made us different, yet your great unknown. Oneness now, loving Savior, sharing word and sacrament.
We're finishing a bit early, but that'll give you all the more time to go out and celebrate. And so we join now in our parting words. We go now, proud of this land in which we live, determined to preserve its beauty and to uphold the dignity of all its people. May we remember that we are called
to share its blessings with others.
And may the creative power of God the compassionate love of Christ, and the energizing force of the Spirit be ours to share with everyone we meet.
I have walked across the sand on the grand banks of Newfoundland, blazed on the ridge of the Miramichi, seen the waves tear and roar at the stone coast of Labrador, watched them roll back to the great northern sea. From the Vancouver Island to the Alberta Island, Larry's the lakes to Ontario's towers, from the sound of Mount Royal chimes up to the Maritimes, something to sing about this land of ours. I have wandered my way to the wildwood of Hudson's Bay, treaded my toes to Quebec's morning dew, where the sweet summer breeze kissed the leaves of the maple trees, sharing this song that I'm singing with you. From the Vancouver Island to the Alberta Island, cross the prairies, the lakes to Ontario's towers, from the sound of Mount Royal chimes up to the Maritimes, something to sing about this land of ours. Yes, there's something to sing about, tune up a string about, call out in chorus so quietly hum, of a land that's still young, with a ballad that's still unsung, telling the promise of great things to come. From the Vancouver Island to the Alberta Island, cross the prairies, the lakes to Ontario's towers, from the sound of Mount Royal chimes up to the Maritimes, something to sing about this land of ours. Yes, there's something to sing about this land of ours.
Have a happy Canada Day tomorrow.